A little update on that splice. I had a bit of used sapwood that had come off a stave, so I've cut myself a little patch which sits there quite nicely. I'll glue that on. You know, there's still going to be a little nick in here, but by the time the stave's taken down to finished width, hopefully we'll be alright. If I do it now while the wood's been freshly worked, I'll get a better glue surface than if I leave it lying around for ages and ages. You'll see it's not a perfect fit by a long way, but what I've deliberately done is left a gap there so it can, as it pulls down in the middle, as it's strapped down hard in the middle, I know I'll get a good glue joint at the ends. It's a splice. That's the patch over the splice glued up. Let's get these clamps off and see what it looks like. Pretty good. I'll clean it up a bit and show you what it looks like. Now I've just tidied it up quickly with the draw knife, taking away the excess from the Z splice here where that discontinuity was, which now looks nowhere near as bad. And of course on the finished bow, if that's going to be the grip area, that may well have disappeared, but if it hasn't disappeared, it can always have a tiny bit of filling and a leather grip over it. This is just a quick rough out to give you an idea of how it blends in. You see that I've taken off this bark and cambium, blended that right down into it, and you can see you're not going to have a nasty joint showing. This side I haven't quite finished the process, but you see I'm starting to blend it down to match in with the sapwood of the billet. This side where the Z splice meets is, you know, there's some wood to come off here yet. The whole bow's too wide at the minute, but again, if that's going to be under the grip, that could be filled if it was deemed to be necessary. And when you look at the bow as a whole, this billet is much narrower than this one. This one's very fat here, so the whole bow needs quite a bit off the sides. But that gives an idea of the general effect. You can see I've lost that big dip. It's nicely patched in now, and that can be curved to fit the hand better. I may have to bulk this up here slightly. I don't think so. What have we got? Oh, we've got plenty actually. Look, we've got 40mm, yeah. And as I said before, I may have to take off some of the sapwood to avoid it being all sapwood and no heartwood. But what I've got now is a stave that I can just put to one side, and that's ready to get turned into a bow at some point. And it's never going to be the world's nicest bow. You've got this weird heart sap stuff going on here. This big, that's quite nice looking though actually, that bit of reflex there. It'll be a character longbow. Could end up being some weird mix between like a Victorian longbow and a character bow, and who knows.